All right, guys, today we are going to take a look at the new Peavey 6505II. Let's get started. So as you know, Peavey just officially released the new 6505II amplifier, and it's 120 watts, and there's a couple of differences on this amplifier aesthetically and with some of the stuff on the back as well and on the inside. It has a clean and crunch shared channel on channel 1, and then on channel 2 it's a high gain channel. Pretty much the same thing that we're all used to. Now aesthetically, so instead of the Peavey logo, that was that oval-shaped logo that this amplifier had for many, many years, you now have the 6505II, which kind of brings you back to when this amplifier was the 5150. You had the 5150 here, which was really cool, and then you have the Peavey logo here, and then the signature there. I'm not going to show you the back. You'll just have to take my word for it. I'm not going to lift this thing up and spin it around. You have a detachable cable now, power cable, so you don't have to worry about having that cable always attached to the amplifier. You have an IEC cable that is detachable now, which I think is really cool, and you also have different voltages. So if you go out of country with this thing and they have different voltage over there, you can just switch it on the back and you can use that now. Now this is a 6L6 amplifier, but you can change to EL34s if you wish. Now it doesn't have room for biasing the EL34s perfectly from what I understand, but you can switch them just the same, but I can't guarantee that the voltage will be optimum when you try to bias those, but you can do it if you want. I prefer 6L6s, so I'm cool with just sticking with those. Now, one more thing I want to mention from my research that I've done on this amplifier is they've changed some of the components inside the amplifier and made them better, so you have some upgraded components. Don't know what they are, but they say they're upgraded components in there. So that's kind of cool, and you're also getting the Peavey Invective transformers in this amp as well. So what I'm going to do is just do a quick dial-in on all three channels or all three modes on this amplifier. We're going to start with the clean mode on channel 1, and I'm going to dial it in without any effects, and once I get an optimal sound out of it, I'll click on my Julia chorus and my flashback delay and just see how it sounds with those. Now I prefer it with the bright switch engaged. It's disengaged right now, but let's hear the difference when I turn it on. Well, that sounds actually pretty freaking good. Let's go ahead and mess with the resonance and presence. Now, one thing I do like is you do have separate resonance and presence for the different channels. So channel 1 has this section here, channel 2 has this section here. So let's mess around with those and see what we have. Well, that wasn't hard. You know, that sounds really good. So let's go ahead and turn on the Julia chorus and the flashback delay and see what we have. It's a good sounding clean channel, very usable. I'm trying to remember, because I had a 6505 Plus on the channel a while back. I'm trying to remember the differences between, you know, the clean channels here. This one's got a nice top end to it, nice sparkle, some good clarity. I don't see anything wrong with it. Is it the best clean channel I've ever heard? No, the Herbert is, and a very close second is the JP. But it's a good, usable clean channel. You know, I don't think it sounds harsh or anything like that. So yeah, I think it's really good. So let's get on to the crunch mode of this channel now. I'm going to go ahead and switch over here. I'm going to turn off the overdrive now. Let's dial that in and see what it sounds like without the overdrive. And then once I get optimal sound, I'll click on the overdrive. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to crunch mode. I'm going to turn off the bright because I don't think that's going to work with the crunch mode. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Let's turn these back to noon. I'm going to adjust the volume down a little bit as well, because with the clean, I had to boost the volume up a little bit. So, all right, let's see what we have. All right, sounds decent, but let's mess around with the power section and get some more presence in it. Okay, decent, but let me engage the boost. Today I'm going to use the grid slammer. I have the level all the way up, gain all the way down, and the tone knob is maxed out as well. And it's actually a great pedal. I used to hate this pedal, and for some reason I like it now. Maybe it's because I cranked the tone knob. It really does help the pedal a lot when you crank that. So let's see what it sounds like with that engaged. In fact, I'll turn it off, and then I'll play a few riffs, and then I'll go ahead and turn it on so you can hear the difference. Sounds a lot better with the pedal engaged, and it feels better as well. So let's go ahead and screw around with the knobs a little bit more. Well, all of the gain is usable on this channel. It's not a super high gain channel. It's more of a classic rock crunch channel, but it actually sounds pretty good with the boost engaged. Now I'm going by memory here, but for some reason I'm liking this channel a lot more than the 6505 Plus I had on the channel a while back. And maybe my memory's playing tricks on me or whatever, but it's actually not bad. Let's play some classic rock riffs on it now and just see what it sounds like. Yeah, that sounds really good for that stuff. I mean, lots of great clarity, good response, you know, lots of great note definition and everything. So yeah, that's a good classic rock channel. It really is. Now let's switch over to channel 2, which everybody knows is the high gain channel on the amplifier. And I'll start with the overdrive off, dial it in, and then kick in the boost and do any further dialing in that's needed. And I'll do some more riffs and probably some more modern, like metal riffs for you, and then I'll end it with a mix. All right, some good potential there. I have the gain at noon, everything's at noon. Let's go over to the 666 mode here. There's 666 settings, and see how that sounds. I have the gain at 6 as well, and then I'll further dial in the resonance and presence as well. Lots of great potential there. That sounds really good. Again, with this channel, you want to put the presence about right there. It's got plenty of low end, so I don't see any need, at least without the overdrive engaged, to bump the resonance up, but we'll see what happens after I engage the pedal. But yeah, this is kind of like, you know, really good settings here. Pretty infamous settings anyways. You could have the gain here, that's fine. It's pretty usable there. It's still got a lot of clarity. So now let's go ahead and engage the boost. In fact, I will engage it as I'm playing so you can hear how it affects the amplifier. Wow, that's pretty nasty. So we're gonna go ahead and turn the gain down a little bit. That was starting to get a little out of control, and maybe add a little bit of resonance in. Let's see where we're at. Man, that is freaking brutal. Wow, that is nasty. I backed off the presence a little bit more because with the overdrive engaged and the tone knob cranked on the overdrive pedal, it added a little too much raspiness to it, so I just backed down the presence a little bit. Now, with the grid slammer, the thing is with that pedal is when you have the tone knob in the middle, it's kind of dull and doesn't do much. But once you crank it up, that's where the magic is with that pedal. But you just got to be careful with your amplifiers when you do that on your overdrive pedals, because depending on the pedal, depending on the amplifier, it can get a little too raspy. So you want to just be careful. In fact, I'll back down the tone just a hair on the pedal right now, and maybe that'll help out a little bit. But I have to say, this is pretty freaking nasty sounding right now. I'm really liking this a lot. Man, this is freaking sounded really good. It's just gnarly as hell. I don't remember the other 6505 sounding like this. They were softer on the top end, a little less aggressive, and I don't know, there was like a bit of a mushiness to them in comparison to this. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe my mind's playing tricks on me or something, but I don't remember them sounding as good as this one does right now. This thing's freaking evil sounding. I feel like the gain structure is a little drier too. And I could be wrong. I mean, like I said, what is it? It's 1 o'clock in the morning right now. So maybe my mind's playing tricks on me. I don't know, but I just don't remember liking the other 6505 versions as much as I'm liking this right now. Maybe there was old tubes in it because, you know, the ones I tried were all used. So who knows? You know, all I can tell you is this thing is sounding freaking nasty. It's really good. It sounds awesome. And the feel is also really good. I'm kind of blown away right now. This thing sounds great. Let's do some more riffs. Why not? Lots of great texture. Let me do some fine tuning on this. Let's just mess around with it a little bit more and see if I can get it to sound even better. I'm looking for a little bit more warmth in the sound here. Yeah, there's a sweet spot with the presence knob. You just take it about right here, so on just above 7. You know, so if you go past it, at least with the overdrive, the way I have it set up and everything, it got a little, I was playing it first, I was like, oh my God, this sounds freaking incredible. But then as I was playing it, I was kind of like, I could use a little bit more warmth. And as soon as I backed it down to here, I was like, there it is. And I added a little bit more gain, and it just added a little more saturation to it, but just a touch, you know? So there's some really fine-tuning points here that I did that kind of helped out. I backed the highs down just a hair. I mean, just minimal changes, but then all of a sudden it just kind of took some of that raspiness out, warmed it up, and the extra little bit of gain kind of gave it that saturation and just kind of, I don't know, that compression just kind of helped out a little bit with that top end. I'm really digging how this sounds and feels right now. I mean, it just sounds incredible. It's kind of reminiscent of the Stealth. Now, it's 1 a.m. and I haven't shot it out with the Stealth yet, but it is reminiscent of it. It's got that nice, gnarly top end to it. It's drier like the Stealth is, and I'll shoot these out tomorrow and see how they compare, but I'm just going off of memory here. But there are some hints of the Stealth here. Now, I know that a lot of people are probably thinking right now, like, well, it's the 6505, dude. They haven't really changed much on it. Well, different components, you know, upgraded components, and different, you know, power section in it. I mean, it's definitely going to make some differences there. And sometimes that's all it takes to change things up a little bit. You know, the transformers can definitely help out with that. A lot of times when people get their amps modded, the transformers is the biggest part of that mod, a choke and some other things too, but transformers matter. They really do change things a little bit. So maybe with the upgraded, better transformers, this thing's got, you know, different characteristics about it now. I mean, I think it's subtle, but it's definitely there. And again, I'm going by memory. So let's do a couple more riffs. I'll do a mix and we'll call it a day. Man, this thing sounds evil. This is probably the most brutal I've ever heard a 6505 sound, at least in my studio here. I mean, I've played a couple of them, and this is the most brutal I've ever heard it sound. Now, like I said before, the other ones that I played were pretty old. They were used. Who knows what was done or not done to them? I mean, maybe they needed to be retubed and have a tune-up. I don't know, but I'm pretty impressed with what I'm hearing right now. I really am. This thing sounds good. Let's do a mix. I'm going to do one of my typical mixes because everybody's familiar with this one. It's all rhythms, and I'm too tired to be playing solos tonight. So let's see what it sounds like with this mix. Well, there you have it, the new 6505II, and I have to tell you, I'm impressed. I think there's more clarity in it. It's tighter. It's not as soft on the top end. It's actually, especially when you push it with the boost, I mean, it gets really nasty sounding and in a good way. I mean, it's really nice. Yeah, I have a lot of confidence that this amp's going to sell like crazy. It really does sound amazing. And by the way, I want to thank Motor City Guitar for allowing me to take this amplifier home and demo it for you guys. And they're such a great store, and they've been such a great supporter of the channel. I really appreciate Marty, the owner, and all the staff there. Great people. So if you're looking for a great piece of gear and you want to get a good deal on it, Motor City Guitar is an awesome store. There's a link in the description. It's an affiliate link, so you can get an awesome piece of gear for yourself. help me out a little bit with the affiliate link, and also help out a great store where, you know, I mean, if it wasn't for them guys, I wouldn't be able to do this demo for you. So, you know, so help them out, you know, give them some business. I mean, again, I do a lot of demos on this channel because of Motor City Guitar, and they're very good supporters. So please send some business their way. I'd really appreciate it, and I'm sure they would too. Well, I'll be shooting this amplifier out with my Stealth and with the Iconic. I mean, people are asking me, yeah, shoot it out with the Stealth, the Iconic. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. I think it would be kind of cool to see how it fares against those two amplifiers. So stay tuned to the channel for that. And thanks to all my subscribers and Patreon supporters. I really appreciate you guys. And if you're new to the channel and you like how I do things here, feel free to subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with new episodes. And you don't want to miss the next few episodes because, again, I'll be shooting this out with a couple of other awesome amps on my shelves here. And I think it's going to be really interesting. Well, again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I have a lot more stuff coming up for you guys. And I will see you on the next episode.